If you've ever watched clips from players such as Alexander or myself and wondered, how can I aim like that? Then this guide is for you. If you don't already know, I'm Pendragon, a high-low cypher main, specifically known for my calm aim style. I've been asked to make this guide for about around 8 months now, so here it is guys. So let's quickly get rid of a misunderstanding or this myth around aim. You don't need to be born talented to have good aim. You can be a talented aimer, but you don't have to be talented to have good aim. In reality, aim is a science that you can learn brick by learning each fundamental and building your aim up until you become a very, very proficient top tier aimer. I have coached literal silver players. I had a silver 2 student who went to Immortal 217 RR, and I have coached gold to ascendant. I've coached my own friends from bronze to diamond, bronze to plat. Depends on what people's goals are. Not everyone wants to get to immortal, but it's more so the fact that if you want to improve your aim, you can. You don't need to be born good for it. So how do we achieve calm aim? Calm aim is a combination of 2 main things. There's calm aim, which is the aiming itself, and then there's calm movement. So calm aim is more of a calm aim style of gameplay than it is just an aiming style. You can't have calm aim style if your movement is erratic and chaotic. So to get calm aim, you need to have a very clean combination of both aim and movement. So I'm going to teach you how to get both calm aim and calm movement. First, let's start with calm aim. So to get calm aim, you need 3 things. You need 1, tension management, 2, Bardoz Method, and 3, tracking practice. So let's start with tension. What is tension? Tension is how much force are you putting on your mouse? Are you gripping it like it's a goddamn brick in your hand? Or are you holding it like it's a little kitten in your hand, you know? How hard are you tensing your forearm? How hard are you tensing your wrist? Are you gripping your fingers too tight? What you want to do is you want to loosen all 3 aspects of your aim. You want to have very loose forearm, you want to have very loose wrists, and loose fingers. So you can have the ability to be smooth. Like Bruce Lee said, be water. You want to be water. Let's say I grip my mouse really tight and I try and get this flick. Look how like choppy it looks. It looks very choppy. Instead, what you want to do is you want to have a more loose grip. Not too loose that your mouse is falling out of your hand, but loose enough that you're not death gripping it. So you have this very gentle aim. You can have this gentle softness to your aim, where it's very smooth, very delicate. If you death grip it, you do not have that delicacy. You're very sharp like this. This is me with the exact same aiming fundamentals and aiming technique, just with extra force in my hand. That's all I'm doing. All I'm doing is pushing my fingers deeper into the mouse harder, and that's visually what's happening on the screen, with my mouse jittering harder like this. Even the smallest movements become huge. Reduce your tension. Now let's talk about the Bardoz method. Even in the Bardoz method, we're going to be using tension management. We want to tension manage everything. From tracking to Bardoz method to target switching, everything will have tension management. It is core to calm aim. If you don't already know, Bardoz method is a aiming technique. Let's take the 2 furthest bots. Let's take this bot on the left and this bot on the right. And I'm going to try and, in one motion, I'm going to try and land on the far right bot. That was pretty decent. Let's try it again. That was off, off, decent, off, on. And you'll see it's very inconsistent. Sometimes I'll land it, sometimes I won't, even though I have pretty good aim. But now let's do Bardoz's aim method, which is a 2-step process where I'll do a fast initial flick to the target, where you want to focus on under flicking. You want to land before the target and not after, because that's efficiency. If you land past the target, you're using more mouse movement, whereas if you land before it, is the most efficient way possible. So let's say I go from A to B here, and I flick to the target, and then I micro adjust and shoot him. Let's go from A again. I flick to this target to the right, and I micro adjust and shoot. Now I no longer need to be super accurate with my initial flick. I don't need to land that first flick exactly on the head. I just need to be close to him, and then the second micro adjustment will get me the kill. The best way to practice this is in aim labs in a scenario called 6-shot. That's my favorite way to practice anyway. So what you want to do in the 6-shot is you want to take these further dots and you want to Bardoz them. So you want to click the first one, initial flick, micro adjust, initial flick, micro adjust, initial flick, micro adjust. And you want to do it again and again. And then once you get to the ones that are clustered like this, it's called cluster farming. Then what you want to do is, instead of bardozing it and doing 2 steps, then you can do ordinary adjustments to them. You don't have to bardoz them, but these further ones, you can get really good value out of bardozing them. When you're first learning, I prefer to go 100% accuracy and just focus on that 2-step motion of the initial flick and the micro adjustment until you really get down. At first, it's going to feel extremely uncomfortable. It's going to feel so alien to you. After a little bit of practice, it'll become so second nature to you that you won't be able to imagine playing Valorant without it. So I highly recommend it. It is the best way to have consistent aim. And even if you don't take anything else from this video, I want you to just know how to Bardoz Method. When it comes to consistency, it is the best consistent aiming method that I can think of, or aiming technique that I can think of. Other scenarios that I highly recommend are wide wall 6 targets extra small. This one's really good at pushing your Bardoz method and precision to the max. And my other favorite one is 1 wall 2 targets, far smaller, denser. This one's really good. This one's really good for learning how to micro adjust the smallest targets at very long distances. So if you're trying to fight C long on Haven again, this one's really good for those kind of scenarios. A few other tips I can give you is aim at the center of the target. This will make your micro adjustments more accurate, as well as when you're aiming at a target, I prefer to look at the target, especially if it's really close to me. If it's really far away, like let's say I'm playing Haven C long, then I'll look at the crosshair. But if it's relatively close, I will just look at the target. Now, so we did tension management, we've done Bardoz, so let's do tracking practice now as the third one. Tracking is the most overlooked aiming aspect in Valorant. Valorant players for some reason just do not practice tracking. They completely overlook it, they go full min-max flicking, and they just ignore tracking altogether. Issue with this is tracking is really fundamental to having good aim, and calm aim is all about having good aim. If you have good tracking, you have good target reading, your aim is more likely to be smooth, your target switching is going to be much better. So to get calm aim, you have to practice tracking as well. Anytime I have a new student come in and they're under Immortal, they always have tracking issues. They never practice tracking. So one of my most common tips is to practice tracking. One of my tracking tips for in practice tool here is to follow, let's say this middle bot here. What I like to do is I like to follow him in an oval shape, and then I'll shoot 2 bots. So let's say I follow him, I'll follow him and then go bang bang. Let's say I go left to right instead of right to left, I'll kill 2 bots, and I'll usually kill 1, 2, 3 or just 1, 2. So let's say I follow him, and I'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now in Aim Trainer, what I like to do is I like to play the scenario switch track ultimate, where I don't need to press down my mouse button to shoot. It automatically shoots when it's on target. And what this helps me do is I can have more practice of low tension, and I can practice target switching like this. So I can target switch. So the reason it's good for practicing tension management is if I tense up like this, you can see how shaky it is in my aim, how jittery it is. High tension where it's like, it's almost jumping around, it's too rigid, whereas this low tension, it's much smoother, much lighter almost, way more gentle. And just like that, you will get significant improvement from just these things. Now let's go to the most overshadowed aspect of calm aim, which is movement. I mentioned earlier that you cannot get calm aim without calm movement, and that is true. The lack of emphasis people put on calm movement is the reason they don't achieve calm aim. I've had many students come to me who have really good calm aim, but because they have very chaotic movement, or they panic move, or they over move, and they don't have this fluid movement to their gameplay, they don't get the full value out of their calm aim. So how do we get calm movement? Calm movement to me is very minimalistic. How can I move as little as possible and be as efficient as possible to get as much value as possible? If I can stay in a fight and not move at all, that is best case scenario for me. One way I practice this is I load up practice bots and I'll single out 3 bots. What I'll do is I'll move, I'll shoot 1, 2, 3, and then I'll move again and I'll shoot 1, 2, 3. Let's go move, 1, 2, 3. Move, 1, 2, 3. move, 1, 2, 3. And what this does is it essentially helps me practice in-game scenarios where, let me give you an example of me pushing a smoke and I'll shoot 1, 2, 3. Every time I practice something, I practice it to be as realistic to a scenario as possible. So I'll take this scenario and I'll take another notch. So let's say I move, I go 1, 2, then I'll move again, but a smaller step for the third. This is an insanely common scenario. So let's do that again. Long movement, 1, 2, smaller step, 3. Long movement, 1, 2, smaller step, 3. Long movement, 1, 2, smaller step, 3. And you want to practice this many times until it's very natural for you. Because you can practice just shooting 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But then when you go in game, you're also going to be 1, 1, 1, right? That to me isn't minimalistic movement because you're moving more than you need to. You should only be moving if you need to. So let's say there's multiple enemies shooting at me, then I can go 1, 2, 3, which I have many clips of me doing. Because there's many situations where you're being rushed on sight or something, and there's 3 enemies coming at you and you have to just go 1, 2, 3 rather than being able to stand still and 1, 2, 3. I see a lot of students of mine when they come in, they use their movement as a way to aim. So they'll like, let's say this bot here, they move and then they over aim. Instead of micro adjusting, they have a habit of moving again to try and realign themselves. And the reason for this is because there's a very popular video on it, and I think Woohoojin made it to someone, which has been taken too literal, where he said use your movement to aim. But that doesn't mean always use your movement to aim, right? You should, if you overshoot someone, micro adjust it. Don't use your movement, because otherwise what happens is, what if they move? Are you going to move again? When are you going to shoot, right? If you just move and, oh, I missed, and you just micro it, you will consistently get far more kills than if you're moving left and right trying to get your character in line with the other person who's also moving. Now there is situations where aiming with your movement is good. I'll give you an example. So let's say this target on the right is on my right specifically. I can shoot target 1 and then move to target 2 on the right. So let's say these bots. Let's start with the middle one. So if I shoot the middle one, I can go left, right, left, right, 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 oh, left now, left, left, right. You decrease the amount your mouse has to move, and that's very minimal. So we like that for calm aim. What we don't like is if you overshoot and you bring back your guy with your movement. This we don't like. We don't want you to be tapping movement like this to try and adjust your aim. It's very inefficient and it will get you killed a lot. The second part of movement is removing your fear of dying. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 things at once. We're going to remove your fear of dying, and we're going to help your tracking at the same time. So we're going to go into a deathmatch, and we're not going to kill anybody. We're only aiming at enemies. We're going to track their heads, and we're going to move left and right to dodge bullets. That's it. This will make you realize, it will literally put it into your body that you have way more time than you think. People are not one-tap demons. These gold players are not the best players in the world. Let me just knife this guy. Hey, stop shooting at me. Okay, watch this. This guy already knows I'm here. Look at this. Look at this. Are these the one-tap demons? Right? These guys are not one-tap demons. It's just your peeking is bad. So you want to always go A and D. Always go A and D from the wall. Oh, he's doing the same thing. Respect. Is he doing the same thing? No, he's shooting. He's shooting. He's just that, but he just whiffed the whole mag. He's still whiffing. I have to kill him. Poor guy. I have to put him out of his misery. I genuinely thought he was doing the same thing as me, but he was just whiffing that much. If that doesn't prove you have more than enough time, I don't know what will. And this really removes that fear of dying, and it helps you understand. It helps you track. I can track this guy, I can track that guy, and you really want to focus on the head. Aim at the center of the head and just try and follow the head constantly. So a lot of my students come in and they'll say, Pen, I have a fear of dying. Every time I step around a corner, I die. And that's not true. What you're doing, if you're dying because you're walking around a corner, it means you're not going around the corner efficiently. What you should be doing is taking a step away from the corner, being further back from the corner helps, and then swinging out with it. Not overexposing yourself, but swinging out with it. If you're going really slowly into a corner, you will get headshotted. If you walk around a corner like this, you will get headshotted. 90% of low elo players do this. I'd say until Diamond, you will be doing this. I guarantee if you look in your gameplay, you are going around corners and maps like this. You're not pre-aiming, you're walking around like this. Sometimes you'll pre-aim, but you're walking around like this. That is getting you killed. Every single corner you go past, you must pre-aim, 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 pre-aim. Always pre-aim, always AD only. No diagonal movement, only AD. Because you want your head to be moving at the fastest speed away from the enemy. In the description below, I put a link to my Aim Labs playlist that I've been using for quite a while now. Also, I offer coaching to anyone that's looking for it for quite a reasonable price, so I don't price out my lower income country viewers. All the money goes to keep me alive and my bills paid, so it's always greatly appreciated. Peace.